The Brothers of Liberty, here to remind you what true freedom is. All right, welcome to the Brothers of Liberty. We're our first sharing screen. I'm the older
I'm
brother.
Brian, the younger brother.
As you see, he's bald and it's bright.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Hodge twins, please don't sue us. I take full responsibility for slapping him around when we were kids since I was the older brother, so he might have had some brain damage. I think that's why he's bald. I slapped the hair off his head.
So, what are we talking about today, bro?
Oh, we're talking about the University of Chicago. I don't know it's called University, but it's a Colorado Health Hospital System where they're now denying transplants to unvaccinated.
Yeah, I was looking at that one. It's so funny that they told us, last year that they wouldn't have anything like this going on, and all of a sudden, now we're being put into two separate camps, pretty much the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, and just seems like they're just trying to find different ways to divide us now. Because first it was red versus blue, now it's vax versus unvax.
Let's see, red versus blue didn't work, and neither did black versus white. So now they're and the sad part is they're uniting us even more because now you got Black Lives Matter and Trump supporters marching in New York together against
that one got me. I could not believe that. That has to be like in the book of Revelations, one of the signs of the apocalypse.
Well, I did a little bit more research on this, and apparently the hospital actually denied, after they made the policy, they denied a person that's actually been waiting and had approval before they made the policy, and they even verified that it wasn't a problem in August, and now it's a problem. There's two women, and the one woman needed a kidney transplant, and the other woman, who's not even, it's actually giving her kidney. So it's not even saying we're taking a kidney from somebody else. They're actually denying someone who willingly wants to give her the kidney because she's also unvaccinated. And
that's what I don't get, because, and like you said earlier, it's the University of Colorado Health System that's doing this. And I don't think, from what I was reading earlier, that they're actually connected to the University of Colorado itself. But the fact of the matter is that they were, these people took a Hippocratic oath. And the one thing, when you look at the ancient Greek Hippocrates, his whole point was it didn't matter if it was an enemy, it was a friend, you helped no matter who it was. And now they're taking that and just throwing piles of crap onto the oath he created thousands of years ago that our healthcare system deemed was an oath that all of our doctors would take.
Oh, see, I did some research on that. I'm glad you brought that up. I actually did some research on that. And now the original Hippocratic Oath says, I will do no harm. However, the modern one that was written in 1964 omits, I will do no harm. Also, according to the National Library of Medicine, most modern medical colleges don't even recite that oath anymore. And the ones that do only recite the modern one and not the original one that says, I would do no harm.
So it gives them that out to allow for something like this. That's great. Just trash everything that modern medical science started out with.
Yeah. And for those that don't believe me about the National Library of Medicine, I'll actually put the link where the actual link where you can go directly to it, and it even says, and you can go and look at the Hippocratic Oath of the modern one, and the one of the Hippocrates, and yeah, but it's also a fun fact about the University of Colorado Hospital. I also did some research on that, and I actually pulled up. It actually originally started, the hospital itself started, and this is why they might be denying transplants, It started in 1989 as a nonprofit organization. However, because of a law, um, it it was actually scrapped and they had to reform to being a government agency. So they considered a hospital on the actual, when you look at the history of it and stuff, they actually consider a quasi-government hospital.
Well, it also had a few hiccups because even though it was a nonprofit, it was actually doing certain things against low income families and low income individuals. And that's one thing I saw. There were actually some concerns about that.
Also saw they were double billing.
Of course.
Yeah, well, remember, it is, if it's a quasi-government, that means government has their hands in it, and that's probably why they won't do it, because they're following the almighty comrade Biden's vaccine policy.
We all know how that vaccine policy is going. I'm glad that I live in a state like Florida where we don't have to worry about that. And so far, the healthcare system, the worst the healthcare system has done is that if you go into the hospital, only one person can, at least I know from Memorial Healthcare System down here in Florida, in South Florida, is that if you go in the hospital, you can only have one visitor at a time, and it doesn't matter the vax status on that one. So far, it hasn't, reached down here into Florida yet.
Yeah, same as South Carolina. So, I mean, we have the governor that says we'll fight them to the gates of hell. So, which you've been quoted by many now.
Well, DeSantis is still, just as strong against it. And, when he tried to do the whole, when Biden tried to do the whole thing of, all the, jobs with 100 people or more have to get vaxxed. First thing DeSantis did was, we're going to do an executive order that makes that illegal in the state of Florida.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about illegal. I know the government agencies can't do it unless they're going to be fined $5,000 a head. So yeah, release 100 people or make trial 100 people. That's a lot of cash right there.
Exactly. Going back to this, if people can start making decisions about transplants for the unvaxxed, and they're allowed to do this, just imagine what more hospitals could do. Oh, well, you're unvaxxed. It doesn't matter if you don't have COVID. You just had a heart attack. We're just going to leave you to the side.
There actually was an article a few months ago. I couldn't confirm it, which is why I didn't talk about it. But there was a guy that claimed in Georgia a hospital emergency refused him treatment. He had a mild heart attack and refused to admit him because he was unvaxxed. But I couldn't verify it, so that's why I never did anything on it.
But it becomes a slippery slope, and that becomes a problem because it no longer becomes just about COVID. It's now about our lives. And that's what a lot of people don't understand is when you go down that slippery slope of socialism and communism, it no longer is just about the money or the property rights or the free speech. It becomes about the government being able to say who lives or dies.
No, that's what they want. They want total control. Just like China saying you can only have 2 babies. Guess what? And, for all those who say, they don't do, someone made a comment on I shared it on TikTok saying, well, hospitals don't give heart transplants to people who smoke, so good for them. Well, how about this? If you're saying that abortion should be a choice, vaccines should be a choice, medical treatment should be a choice, they already have to sign a waiver for the transplant. Why don't you sign a waiver about whether or not, and it's not like it's one that's been waiting. This is a friend. Give her kidney, and the friend, now the one person, the one who needs a kidney, hasn't taken the vaccine because she wants more research done. And now the one that, and they said that she should, that the woman, they told her, the one that wants to give the kidney, that she can't give a kidney to anybody because she's unvaccinated. And her reasons why she didn't take the vaccine is religious reasons. So now they're saying screw your religion too. Unless you worship the Church of Biden and the government, you can't. It doesn't matter your religion. You have to take the vaccine. Because the military is doing the same thing where they're saying, "Oh, we don't care about religious or whatever. It's you take it or you're discharged."
And you know, I'm sorry, First Amendment, and I'm almost done. I'm almost finished editing that video out for everyone.
I plugged you last week and the week before, and you didn't do no video.
If we weren't on YouTube, I'd give you a hand gesture right now.
Well, but you can still get the hand gesture as long as you make it over 18. But I want other people to see this.
That's the point. So you got lucky on that one. But you know, the First Amendment talks about our religious freedoms. And now they decided, you know, no more religious freedoms. And that, you know, you go into any of the socialist and communist countries, that's one of the first things they started taking away as well. Even the fascist countries went after the religions. And so we're thinking that we're going down the right road. For those of you who think that it's a great idea, just look at the USSR, look at China, look at Venezuela, look at Cuba, look at all of these countries, and then look at Nazi Germany and Italy under Mussolini.
Yeah, well, and for those who say you don't know what's happening because those are in the past, Venezuela is happening today, people. Acts of Venezuela, they'll tell you. And you know, that's why the administration doesn't want Cubans or Venezuelans to come up here, because they know who they'll vote for, because those people sing this song and dance before. There's a lady on TikTok that I follow. Her mother grew up in Nazi Germany, where she was a young child and teenager during the 30s. And she cries every day because she sees what happened in Germany happening now. And for those who say the vaccine passport isn't fascist, she actually showed her health passport where she had to show to get in, and it had a Nazi emblem on it.
Everyone forgets that under that regime, under the Third Reich, you had to have a clean bill of health. Hitler was one of the first ones. Yep.
Nazi Germany, the first one to say no smoking in public.
And you know, they sat there and came up with all this, you know, you had to go through health screenings and everything else, and be the
yeah. Did you freeze? Okay, I think we have some technical difficulties here because my brother seems to be frozen. He was in the middle of his speech, but he's now frozen. So I guess it's the oldest brother again. Let's see if we can get him back here. Well, it seemed my brother's internet went down, which is why we had to cut this video short. But like, share, subscribe, comment on our things that we talked about. We may go more of this next week. But yeah, this is going to be, we're going to try to make this a weekly thing here where we have a video of us together. So once again, you saw my younger brother and I'm the older brother, Kelton, and always here to remind you what true freedom is.